Game day mornings are tough. You usually want to lock your door the night before if you can help it. If that thing's open in the early morning on a game day, guys are going to come crashing in, playing obnoxious music. Basically, they'll just do whatever they can until they feel like you're hyped up and ready to go. And once they're in there, there's really nothing you can do. They'll just be there until they feel like you're hyped up. So I'm an albatross. Yeah, either lock your door or get ready to go pretty bright and early.
Huge game up in Williamstown. I think it's my favorite field to go play to the NESCAC. It's a really beautiful setting, great field, really big field. From everything I heard, they're going to be a really good team this year. All our games have been close. Last year we beat them 1-0 and escaped with Scott Greenwood making an incredible save as time expired.
Had to get up pretty early, got some breakfast sandwiches on the bus. I was actually out for the game, so it was kind of disappointing for me to not be able to play, but I was not very worried that the boys wouldn't be able to pull through.
Going into the game, we wanted to win. We wanted to stay top of the NESCAC, and looking long term, we wanted to host the whole tournament.
Williams is definitely going to be one of the more physical games every year. I think we have somewhat of a rivalry that gets pretty chippy.
It was probably, I think, maybe besides Amherst, the hardest game of our season so far. I mean, for whatever reason, I don't think we came out to play right away. They defended well, they pressed us well.
Lots of fouls in the games, a few yellow cards, but we eventually just got the ball on the floor, kept it, spread it out wide, and found that goal.
At the end of the day, it's about getting the result. We got an early goal from Zach Lane, which was a nice play, beat a guy one-on-one, scored. So far, we've done a good job of making those leads stand up, and that's sort of how we played. I mean, it got pretty chippy. Those kids were really fighting for their NCAA hopes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And then we had to turn around right after that and face kind of our boogeyman in Bowdoin.
After we won at Williams, and some of the other results I think went our way, we knew that if we tied or beat Bowdoin, we would be the #1 seed in the NESCAC.
And there's actually been no player on a roster to beat Bowdoin, which is particularly surprising to us because in every single game that we've played against them, we've dominated in shots on target. But for some reason, they've just been able to find a way to find the back of the net, and we haven't.
In the back of our mind, I think a little bit we thought, all right, we need to at least tie this. I think Bowdoin honestly had the same sort of feeling. I think at this point they were guaranteed third, so they would host the first round at home for themselves and then would travel down to us. So they were really compact. They normally are.
I almost had a nice bar down own goal, which was probably their best attacking play.
It was a lot of just defensive positioning.
1 minute remaining.
It eventually went into overtime. It was at zeros, and we were kind of just happy to take the 0-0 scoreline because that would mean we get the #1 seed in the NESCAC tournament.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think sort of in their mind, it was like, all right, if we try to push for this win, Tufts is going to be able to probably score a goal or two on us. In the end, it was sort of a slow defensive battle.
Got the #1 seed in the tournament, and obviously that hopefully will pan out well for us going into the NESCAC tournament, and hopefully it'll put us in a good position to host in the NCAAs. I remember when I first committed, I started asking Shapiro about the other potential recruits he was looking at and the other kids in my class, and I remember him telling me about this little speedy winger he's got coming in from Hawaii, Zach Trevorrow. So of course, I went on YouTube, tried to find his highlights, found a little quick highlight tape. I was like, damn, this kid's pretty good.
Double hood. Taking a little look at this kid named Zach Trevorrow. It's come to my attention that he's a pretty good player, so I'm going to check out his video, give him a shot, see what I think, and we'll go from there, A little bit of trickery to start us off, baby. Tunes on point. Gino! What is this? Hawaiian League crazy stuff going on. It's a bunch of psychos running around. Hawaii looks beautiful. Top of the box. Dice is a guy. Gino! I feel like there's a lot more where that came from. What we got here? What we got? Oh, he's running with the ball. Oh my God! I've been around the block a time or two. That's a good play. Only 1 minute out of 5 through this video, and I'm sold. Give me this kid. This kid is an absolute bumblebee. Buzz, 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 buzz. Trevs with the ball, middle of the box. Diving at it. Let's go! Yeah, so I took a look at the video. This kid's Zach Trevorrow. Kid is a freak of nature. All I'm saying is, get on the next flight to Hawaii. Hawaiian pizza, buy him 10.
Trev's a funny guy. I remember when he came in, no one knew what to expect, including coach. Really unique character on our team. He gets incredibly pumped up in the pregame huddle and kind of loses his mind, and it's one of my absolute favorite things to see.
Still really don't know what he studies.
You know, I'll occasionally see him like walking back from the library at like 12 in the morning with like random people I've never seen before in my life. Like no one really knows what he does. So yeah, he's definitely a bit of a mystery on that front.
Error, player name unknown. Error, player class unknown. Error, player position unknown. Initiate self-destruct.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8:40. About to start my day. We got a big day today. I want to show you around the suite. Should be a good day. So one of the first things I like to do in the the beginning of the day is to listen to some NPR because I know how I'm doing every day, but sometimes it's nice to know how everybody else is doing. So NPR is a big part of my morning routine. I like to eat breakfast by myself. I don't like talking to people because it's hard sometimes to keep a conversation going when you're like barely awake. Now we're about to head over to German to do some presentation that I've not been prepared for, so hopefully that turns out okay. No one sees me during the day because I'm just not in anyone's class, so might be one of the reasons why no one knows what I do during the day.
In the spring, we were just like having a regular like kick around, and it was freezing. It was like 20 degrees out, and you just see Trev in the middle of the field, like his lips literally frozen purple, screaming and not making any sense.
Once that kid gets talking, it's like he's riding on the back of a cheetah running away from the solar eclipse. Wow, that didn't even make sense.
When he gets in the moment, it's almost impossible to understand what he's saying. Like today in the game, he came up to Joe, Jack, and I during the warm-ups, and he said something, and I just like laughed and said, yeah, and Joe came up to me and he was like, what did Trev just say? And I was like, I have no idea, bro. Just laugh and say yeah.
Das ist nicht für uns. Okay.
Okay, heute spreche ich über der Nürburgring. Also, was ist der Nürburgring? Es ist eine Rennstrecke in Nürburgring, Deutschland. Nürburgring ist hier im Westen. Die Nürburgring Nord oder North Loop ist länger als 23 Kilometer. Sagen Sie, ist die langste Rennstrecke in der Welt mit 73 Ecken.
Sind das Kurven?
Kurven, Ecken.
Ja, okay.
Ja.
Dankeschön.
Welcome to the sweet life. Stay the life. All right, this is Tassa's room. It's pretty much a free room because he's never here. Now this is Braun and Ramos's room. Probably the most dirty spot in Haskell, I would say. It's kind of full of mono. You just don't want to be in here. Last but not least, the best room in the suite. Look at this. First of all, we got Hawaii flag, Shane Victorino, the flying Hawaiian. Big influence to me. A kid from Hawaii living on the on the East Coast. Another Hawaii poster over here, and just 2 nice flags. So I like the setup. All right, so a big part of the suite is bounce ball, a game we invented. We've been taking advantage of this giant corridor we got. So.
All right.
Come on. Get that right here.
All right, hold on. Regrip. Get away. Get his Take him.
Oh, that hurts.
Get away. Wait.
Deep ball.
So the sophomores made this game called Bouncy Ball. If you ask them, they'll tell you that it has a bunch of rules and it's really complicated, but from everything I've seen, there's not really any rules. They just throw bouncy balls at each other as hard as they can.
No rules! There's no rules! Just hit balls loose! Current score, I think it's about 1-0.
I thought that was
With ones, apparently.
I'm so
Uh-oh, camera in the way. Balls loose! The scrum! Current score is 3-2. Oh, sh**. A great bounce by Jack Delaney. Thunderman! Oh! Behind the back! What a point! Unbelievable play. Sarah, you saw it too.
I know, this has been incredible. Really thrilling night,
Very thrilling night overall. Tally, how do you feel? It's a good night. Game's still going. I think we're in OT. Oh, it's 4-3. Oh, it's still going. Astounding victory by the Thundermen. Unbelievable. What a game. What a match.
Sterl got the ankle. We got the hunchback. Damn. It's that fat ankle.
Ice bath hasn't been working, but we gotta go the DIY route. So we're gonna make a little. Bring the ice bath to us. You know how we do.
A change of plans. It's too cold.
Here you got your incubator, where you put your cells. We got a whole bunch of stem cells in here. I forget what kind they are. I just said it. Bone marrow. Oh no, they're from the bone marrow of someone. And this liquid, even though you can't see it, they're cells, and by shaking it around, pretty much just removing them from the surface of the plate so that they're not stuck.
Alright, so now what we actually doing?
Shaking around a bunch of fruit punch. That fruit punch line is mine.